Hey everyone, and welcome back to Successzone. Today we're going to be talking about the events that led to the downfall of Nikola Motors. Make sure you stay until the end so you don't miss out on what actually happened. You'll be shell-shocked. The electric vehicle business. Tesla, TSLA, 1.2% has been the major stock market headline in the electric vehicle business. They have catapulted themselves to the title of the most valuable car company in the world, even surpassing Visa to become the 7th largest US company by market cap. But almost as popular as Tesla amongst EV enthusiasts are the EV truck makers, Nikola Motor, founded by Trevor Milton. When Nikola and VectolIQ Acquisition Corp closed a merger on June 3rd, the joint venture was valued at $29 billion by June 9th, although the more recent valuation was somewhere around the $18 billion mark. Nevertheless, it was a startup fairy tale to rival Tesla's. But then revelations by forensic financial analyst Hindenburg Research on September the 10th claimed Nikola to be an intricate fraud, and Nikola's value started tumbling. If you've been in the tech business for a while, you'll be filled with a tremendous sense of déjà vu. Hindenburg already made the comparison with Theranos, which was the most recent company in the top headlines, currently being investigated for fraud by the US Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. Nikola Motors goes public. Do you know when Nikola Motors, NKLA, went public? Its founder Trevor Milton sold shares worth $70 million? Do you also know that he claimed Nikola is producing 3 gigawatts of electricity at their headquarters, which turned out to be false? Do you know that Nikola misled investors by showing a video of a Nikola truck cruising on the highway, but in reality, it was not fueled by power, but only by going downhill? Nikola fired back at a scathing report by an analyst with a short position in the company's stock that accused it of being an intricate fraud, denying its findings and retaining a high-profile law firm for possible legal response. Yet Nikola shares plummeted further on Friday. The hydrogen truck maker stated that it has nothing to hide and refuted the allegations. Nikola also hired Kirkland & Ellis LLP, a law firm that often works with automakers, to evaluate potential legal recourse, including with respects to the activist short seller and any other acting in concert. Nikola's core business is the manufacture of semi-trucks powered by hydrogen fuel cells and batteries, and they also run on a network of fueling stations. The hydrogen required is to be produced by Nikola, relying mainly on electrolysis to extract the element from the water using renewable electricity. The company has already received 14,000 orders for emission-free trucks from the top clients like beer maker Anheuser-Busch, with plans to begin delivering hydrogen models by 2023. They have also partnered with Iveco in Europe to sell battery-powered trucks, and the construction of their plant in Arizona is underway to produce its Nikola 1, 2, and 3 models. Nikola is currently in murky waters after a report from Hindenburg Research made several allegations exposing fraud committed by Nikola and its founder Trevor Milton, including several claims corroborated in previous reports from Electrek and Bloomberg. Nikola's founder and executive chairman Trevor Milton had no choice but to step down from his position after the report came out, and the company is now starting to feel a lot of pressure from all sides. Milton still owns about 20% of Nikola's shares, worth around $2 billion. Nikola is also reportedly facing probes from the FCC and the DOJ regarding their pattern of deception that is coming to light. As a result, Nikola's stock price is down more than 25% in pre-market trading following the news that Milton is out. The most damning allegation, the claim that they faked the first video of the hydrogen electric truck driving demo, was admitted by the company without even issuing an apology. On top of that, they even claimed that their deception was fine due to a technicality. GM gets into the picture. Just 2 weeks ago, GM CEO Mary Barra and Nikola's Trevor Milton held a joint press conference where they announced a $2 billion partnership where General Motors would own 11% of the startup. We asked GM if any of the recent news could affect their decision. Negotiations are still underway for the deal between GM and Nikola. The companies missed their September 30th initial target date for finalizing their agreement. Nikola's share price has been battered by the fraud allegations, with shares of Nikola down 53% since the partnership was announced, as of Thursday. CNBC's Phil LeBeau reported on September 30th that General Motors might take a bigger stake in Nikola, given that Nikola's share price has dropped so far since the deal was announced. General Motors' proposed 11% stake was worth about $2 billion when the deal was penned. Now it's worth less than half that much. Our transaction with Nikola has not closed, a GM rep said on September 29th, according to Reuters. We are continuing our discussions with Nikola and will provide further updates when appropriate or required. Electrek's take. The official story is that Milton was asked to be removed. We all know that stepping down voluntarily is often something employed to save face when executives are forced out in situations like this. While he still owes over 5% of the company and will have to report his quarterly ownership in Nikola, he might not have to report his transactions now that he is not an active officer and insider anymore. It won't come as a surprise if he starts unloading his position without having to report his sales of the stock, which would make things a lot easier. Hopefully the SEC and DOJ are going to be able to get most of that money back at some point. Why would anybody buy a vehicle from them now knowing that the whole company started based on an intricate web of lies? The huge problems that plague Nikola Motors. Number 1. Nikola Motors has zero software. Software is a critical part of an electric vehicle. However, the way Trevor Milton described the software in their vehicle in the following video is embarrassing. Number 2. Nikola Motors has no manufacturing. Building a prototype of something is one thing, and producing that product in a factory on a massive scale is another thing. Nikola Motors have not released any HFC technology prototype yet alone manufacture it on a large scale. Till date, they have only sourced a few HFCs from a third party and retrofitted them into their vehicle. Number 3. Slow-going sales. Although Nikola claimed that reservations for 14,000 fuel cell electric trucks, which are worth about $10 billion in sales, were made, those are far from done deals. The company told prospective investors in April that it was negotiating with strategic fleet partners to convert pre-orders into binding contracts with deposits. Association with GM and what unfolded. For Nikola, a contract with America's largest original equipment manufacturer by sales boosted credibility, as per Wedbush analysis and its share prices. Following the announcement, Nikola stock price jumped 53%. Markets Insider previously reported. For GM, the deal was supposed to pay for itself. Nikola would pay General Motors $700 million to engineer and manufacture the Badger, and in turn, General Motors could show off its Ultium battery in the new truck and collect 80% of the emissions credits for the vehicle. As part of the deal, General Motors would also be the executive provider of fuel cells for Nikola's semi-trucks, excluding Europe. 2 days later, Hindenburg Research released an explosive report. Nikola, how to parlay an ocean of lies into a partnership with the largest auto OEM in America. Hindenburg Research announced that it gathered extensive evidence that indicated Nikola is an intricate fraud built on dozens of lies that were spun over the course of its founder and executive chairman Trevor Milton's career on September 10th. The firm has a short position on Nikola, which means that it stands to profit if Nikola's share prices goes down. The report said that Nikola made false or misleading claims about having proprietary battery technology, natural gas wells, solar panels, and hydrogen production capabilities. The report also exposed that Milton's claim that Nikola designed key components of its vehicles in-house, even though the technology was actually licensed and bought from third parties. In addition, Hindenburg Research said that the Nikola representations of its semi-truck, the Nikola One, were a total farce. During one event, the electric vehicle company claimed that the truck's electric systems worked, but Hindenburg's report said that there was an electrical cable under the stage secretly powering the truck. Whether Nikola Motor will take place in this pantheon of shame is still debatable to a certain extent. The Hindenburg Research claims seem conclusive and damning when you first read them, until you get to the end and see which way their interests lie. Now that, unsurprisingly, lawyers are involved, it could be many months or even years before the absolute truth comes out. But just as the online revolution had the dot-com bubble burst in 2000, leaving many corporate casualties, the EV revolution has clearly now reached a point which is reminiscent of the infamous Gartner hype circle, where expectations are massively inflated. Some of today's companies will likely succeed, like probably Tesla. Some have already failed despite offering promising products, like the original Fisker Automotive. Others are just frauds who never had what they promised. We will eventually find out if Nikola Motor is truly in the last category at some point, but even if you're not a stockholder yourself, it's definitely going to be fun watching the story unfold. While you're here, go ahead and click on one of these videos on your screen. See you there!